Hey, Tannen, how's it going, man?
Hey, Randy, it is going very well, my friend. Really happy to be here with you today.
Well, it's my pleasure. This is a big day, right? Tannen, or I should say Cosmic T. It's the 21st of May, 2021, right?
Yeah,
Big
yeah,
day.
yeah. It feels like it's been a long time coming. It's been quite the journey to get this to this day, and I'm feeling really excited to be at this point of launching the album out into the world. Very
I know,
cool.
that's cool. And we're going to talk about that later in the show. But I thought it would be fun and instructive for our listeners to start out with a little background about who you are, who you were, what makes you tick.
Sure.
So I know, for example, that you grew up in good old Nelson,
I did.
in the bosom of a musical family. Tell me a little bit about what that was like when you were a kid.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So, yeah, I had the really good fortune and blessing of growing up here in Nelson. And music has just been, I've been steeped in music from a very young age. You know, my dad, he was in a lot of different bands growing up. Also a pop choir teacher, was a pop choir teacher. You know, my grandpa, he was in many bands. He was actually a big part of the Penticton Root Band. And like my uncle, he was a pianist and he was a musician and a singer. And my brother's a musician and a singer. And so,
Wow.
it was always in any kind of family gathering, you could guarantee there's going to be some good food and there's going to be some hopefully good music, depending on how many drinks they may have had at that point. But
Yeah, right.
it was just nice to be surrounded by that music, right? To be in that, in that upbringing and encouraged to, find my own musical gifts in that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And
Yeah.
so, right away, under pressure pops into my head vis-a-vis young Tannen and music. But by the age of 15, you'd sort of picked up the family musical mantle, right? And formed a group.
Yeah, so I had this really interesting invite come from a friend of mine, one of my best friends. He'd been getting into some hip hop and some rapping and, recording with like a $20 Walmart mic, USB mic, and some cool stuff coming through. And one day he's like, "Hey, Tannen, have you ever thought about like trying to rap?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "You want to try?" And I was like, I probably won't be any good at it. He's like, "That's okay, just try it out." So I did, and we got together and we started making some songs and just having fun with it. And of course, it was kind of clunky, but I also found that I had a bit of a natural gift with this thing, and maybe not so surprising because I had that musical background. Had a natural through that rhythm. So yeah, and things just kind of continued to grow from there. And we went from having this fun little thing that we shared to a couple friends to a pretty successful hip hop group that was called Locomotif.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
And you kept that up for how long?
We did that for quite a few years, actually. Yeah, that started when I was around maybe 14, 15, and carried on all the way through high school and into the first few years of college, even. And we had a pretty good following. We had a hit track called Back Home, which was all about the Kootenays and our love for the Kootenays. And we were feeling homesick, at that time, living in Kelowna and going to school there. So we made this track and it just took off. Actually has hundreds of thousands of views on Spotify. Still surprised just the other day I found it's still out there, getting out there. And a lot of people
Wow.
resonated with it. Yeah, it was a good one.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I know that then that was followed by a big capital B, E, capital E event, and that changed things for you. But before we get into that, let's take a quick break. Let's play a piece of a track from your new album, and then let's come back and talk about the next stage of your evolution. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a great plan, Randy.
Okay, everyone. Here's a track from Tannen's Tanner. Okay, everyone. Here's a track from Cosmic T's new album, and then I'll be back in the studio with Cosmic T himself.
Woohoo.